Hey guys, and welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video, I will be going over how we went in round 4, and then I'll be giving you my round 5 tips. You might notice, hey, there's no intro. What's going on? So, just moved into the new house, as you can see. Starting to set stuff up. So yeah, the office space is looking okay. I still got a little bit of work to do here and got to buy a few more things, but things are coming together. I tried to set up my computer and it kind of buggered up. So no good. No good. So I'm running off a laptop here. So if it looks a little bit dodgy or sounds a little bit dodgy, that is why. Obviously, I want to give you guys the best possible, um, you know, product I can, but unfortunately, I am limited a bit with the equipment that I'm using until I can afford to get this bloody computer fixed. So fingers crossed it turns out okay, but yeah, until then, I have none of my intros or outros set up. They're all on the computer. So yeah, we're using this bloody laptop, so things might run a little bit slower than usual, but it is what it is. We move on. So let's go over my round 4 tips. First game, Roosters and Panthers. I backed the Panthers in this one. Obviously, a lot of people tipped against the Panthers because Panthers missing Cleary, Sorensen, and someone else as well. I can't remember who it was, but Fisher Harris, obviously. So yeah, a lot of people tipped against the Panthers, which, is understandable. But, yeah, they got the job done. I thought they would. Like, they always have that next man up mentality. So, very good win there for the Panthers. And you take that tip. All right, next up is the Friday night game, or the Friday afternoon game, I should say. If this is going to scroll down. There we go. Oh, too far. All right, so we saw the Rabbitohs beat the Bulldogs 20 points to 16. Obviously got that right. I was pretty confident in the Bunnies in this one. I thought they should have won this. They should have, and they did. Wasn't pretty, but it was a win nonetheless. So you take that. That's 2 from 2. And then I thought, you know what? We're going to start this off so well. I reckon I could go 4 from 4 with ease. These first 4 games should be easy to tip. Back the Cowboys to beat the Broncos. Shouldn't have done that at Suncorp. I thought Broncos, few players out, probably won't beat the Cowboys there. And they absolutely flogged them by 26 points. So, yeah, very disappointing. But, yeah, that is a tip wrong there. All right, next up. The Dragons against the Seagulls. Obviously, I backed Manly in this one. I thought there's no chance the Dragons win this. They proved me wrong. They were very good at WIN Stadium. They played their hearts out. They did it in front of their fans, and it was a very good win for St. George. So 20 points to 12 win there for the Dragons. Great way to start off their Easter weekend. Next up, Titans and Dolphins. I had no faith in the Titans whatsoever. After the first few weeks, they've dished up some pretty disappointing footy. And the Dolphins have been playing some pretty good footy, to be honest. After that round 1 loss, they've turned their season around a bit. So very good game there for the Dolphins. Got that tip right, so we move on. All right, the first of the Sunday games, Warriors and the Knights. Obviously, I backed in the Warriors over in New Zealand. I thought they'd be too strong there, and they were. I thought the Knights were good in patches, but the Warriors always going to be too good in New Zealand, in my opinion. All right, next up, I went a little bit rogue here, although a lot of people agreed with me, to be fair. I backed the Raiders in to beat Cronulla. The Raiders have a pretty good record against the Sharks, and I thought they'd continue that with a win here. However, the Sharks at home proved to be too good for the Raiders. They got the job done at 36-22 and left egg all over my face. And then finally, if I can get this thing to scroll down again, finally, we had today's game, the Parramatta Eels against the West Tigers. I took the Eels in this one, as did 83% of people. I thought it would be a close game. It normally is in these Easter Monday games. Was a close game, but the Tigers got the job done. Credit to them. Lockie Galvin is just an absolute weapon of a player. It sucks that he had that hit drop incident because he probably will miss a little bit of footy now. But outside of that, he is just an absolute weapon. Very good player. And Justin Olam, he coming into this side, he just fixed their attack really well, in my opinion. So Tigers looking the good so far. So really good win there for the West Tigers. But disappointing there. I think I only got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 8. So that is not good. You hate to see that. That's 50%. I'd like to be a little bit above that. But we move on. Round 5 tips. We've got the first game, the Melbourne Storm against the Brisbane Broncos. This game is being played at Amy Park. Now, the Broncos have won. They've only won 21% of games at Amy Park. They've in the last 50, they played 55 games. There's been 1 draw. Storm have won 40. Broncos have won 14. Now, the Broncos are looking pretty good. They had a good win there against the Cowboys. Storm are coming off a bye. With that being said, I think a freshened up Storm should win this game. I don't think it'll be a flogging, so I am going to back Storm in this. I'm going to back them by 4 points. I think they will be too good for the Broncos, but I don't think it'll be an absolute flogging. So, yeah, Storm get the win there for me in the Thursday night game. The first of the Friday night games, we've got the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs against the Sydney Roosters. So this one should be a pretty good game, in my opinion. Look, obviously on paper, both these sides are completely different. Together, head-to-head, they played 47 games. Roosters won 25, Bulldogs have won 22. The game is being played at a core stadium. The Roosters have won 49% of games at a core, Bulldogs 53%. The last time they played, the Bulldogs only lost by 1 point in round 14 last year, and the year before that, they actually beat the Roosters 16-12. So this should be a very, very close game, in my opinion. Now, I know, realistically, the Roosters have a much better side, but the Bulldogs have been playing some pretty good footy this year. So I do think it will be a lot closer than what people think. I am going to side with the Roosters in this one because I do think they get the job done. I'll give you my margins at the end of this video, but I do think Roosters should win this one. Look, I think the Dogs will be up for a fight in this one. All right, next up, we've got the Knights against the Dragons, both sides that have been pretty disappointing to start the year, to be honest. Dragons lost their last game 32-12 against the Knights. That was round 27 last year. And then in round 6 in 2022, the Dragons beat the Knights. Now, this is being played at McDonald Jones Stadium. The Knights have won 14 games. The Dragons have won 29 games head-to-head. And wins at this venue. The Dragons have actually won 78% of games at this venue, whereas the Knights have won 55. So I think this will actually be a pretty close game once again. The Knights realistically should get up for their home fans, but the Dragons have been playing some damn good footy. Beating Manly there at Wynn Stadium this week just gone. That's an incredible win for the Dragons there, and I think they will take a lot of confidence from that. But I can't go past Newcastle at home. I think KP will be up for this game, so I've got to back Newcastle, but I'm not confident in that tip. All right, next up, we've got the South Sydney Rabbitohs against the Warriors at 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. Was going to live stream this game, but unfortunately that is probably not going to be the case now due to some technical difficulties with my technology. So if we can, hopefully that comes good. If it comes good, definitely be live streaming it, but I don't think it will, unfortunately. So Rabbitohs against the Warriors should be a really good game, in my opinion. Played at a core stadium. The Rabbitohs are in pretty good form there, to be honest. Like, I know we only just beat the Bulldogs. Like, don't get ahead of yourself, Ados. But we play well against the Warriors. So we've won 21 of our 38 games played against the Warriors. Warriors have only won 17. Obviously, we've won the last 2 games convincingly against the Warriors. We've had 57% wins at this venue, whereas the Warriors have only had 39. Obviously, the Warriors are in better form than the Rabbitohs. There is no doubt in my mind about that. But I am confident in saying I think the boys can continue their winning ways and go back-to-back here with a win over the Dogs last weekend into a win over the Warriors this weekend coming up. So Rabbitohs, for me, get the job done there over the Warriors. Should be a cracker of a game. All right, next up, we've got the Seagulls against the Panthers. This one should be a classic. Panthers coming off a good win against the Roosters, whereas Manly lost in a disappointing clash to the Dragons. Now, the Panthers have had the wood over Manly, winning 24 of their last 39 games. That 39 games head-to-head. Obviously, Manly then winning 15. Panthers have beaten Manly by 24-12 in round 24 of 2023, and then 44-12 in round 6 of 2023. The Seagulls obviously have a better record at Brookvale, winning 61% of games at this venue. Panthers are 45% wins there. So, look, both sides have started the season okay, I guess you could say. Panthers definitely have been better than Manly, and I think the Panthers win this one. I will give margins at the end. I'll also give try scorers as well, but I think the Panthers win this quite comfortably, to be honest. I think it will be close for the majority of the game, but Panthers will run away with it come the end of the game. All right, we are off to the last game on Super Saturday. This one is being played at Suncorp Stadium. The NRL Dolphins, or the Redcliffe Dolphins, however you want to say it, against the Wests Tigers. Now, the Tigers are coming off a very good win against Parramatta, whereas the Dolphins are coming off an enormous win over the Titans. Now, the last time these two teams met, the Tigers won that one 24-23. So, very close game late last year. Tigers have won 44% of games played at this venue. Sorry, the Dolphins have won 44% of games at this venue. The Tigers have won 45%. So very close there. Obviously, Dolphins being the newer team. This one definitely could go either way. Now, I would be very, very close to tipping the Tigers in this one, and I think it will be another very close game. However, I am going to lean to the Dolphins just because it's being played at Suncorp. I think they will be slightly too good there. So I am backing the Dolphins at Suncorp Stadium, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers pull off an upset there. All right, we move on to the Sunday ticket. The first game is the North Queensland Cowboys against the Gold Coast Titans. Should be an absolutely brilliant game of footy here. So, Cowboys coming into this one easily favourites, and rightly so. However, the Titans did beat them last time they played, 22-13, and I believe Cowboys were quite heavily favoured in that game, if I'm not mistaken. Cowboys beat the Titans last year in round 4, though, 24-12. So now they've both won one of their last 2 games. The Cowboys do tend to have the wood over the Titans, though, winning 19 games out of the 31 in total played. Wins at this venue, the Cowboys obviously have had 54% of wins at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, and the Titans only 20%. So realistically, look, the Cowboys should win this one and should win it well. I do think it'll be a little bit competitive. I think that, Des will fire up the boys for this game. I do think that there will be a few players dropped this week for the Titans, players like maybe Brian Kelly, those, a couple of others maybe too, throw in the mix, a few forwards, a few bench players. I think Des will change it up a little bit. I do think that there could be a chance that Jaden Campbell might get dropped. Could be wrong. I don't know. I'll happily wear it if I am. But, look, I think this game will probably be won quite comfortably by the Cowboys at the end. But I do expect the Titans to come out and play fairly tough for the first sort of 40 to 60 minutes before the Cowboys run away with it. All right, finally, we've got probably the game of the weekend, to be fair. The Raiders against the Eels. These games tend to be pretty close. Outside of the finals week 2 in 2022, where the Eels beat the Raiders 40-4. But last year in round 11, the Raiders got the job done at home 26-18. When these two have played 39 games head-to-head. Raiders have won 22. Eels have won 17. So pretty much siding with the Raiders here on that sort of note. Wins at this venue definitely favour the Raiders. Nearly 60% wins at the GIO Stadium, and the Eels only 26 wins. So, look, Sunday afternoon at Canberra should get a good turnout there. The Raiders coming off a loss this week, I believe. Yes, a pretty poor loss, 236-22 against the Sharks. Whereas the Eels are coming off another disappointing loss to the Tigers. So both sides, they want to fight back. They want to claw their way back up the ranks a bit. So I think this will be a very entertaining game. I do think this is one of the games of the weekend. I am going to side with the Raiders here. I think the Raiders will be too good there at GIO Stadium. So let's go over my tips, guys. We'll give you the margin and a anytime try scorer. So for the Storm and the Broncos, I am backing Storm. Obviously 4 points there, so it is a 1-12 margin. I think anytime try scorer in this game, I'm going to give Ryan Pappenhausen a try. I reckon he scores for Melbourne. I think he is a good little pick there. Next up, you've got the Roosters against the Dogs. This should be a cracking game. I think this will be a 1-12 margin. I'm going to say 1-12 margin there, but I am going to give Daniel Tupou a try. I think they will target him for his height. Joseph Suaalii is another good shout, but I'm going to say Daniel Tupou to score against the Dogs. All right, next up we've got the Knights against the Dragons. I'm backing, obviously, the Knights. I'm going to say the Knights do end up winning this one 1-12. I don't think this will be a blowout. I think it'll be a relatively close game, and I think KP scores for Newcastle. All right, next up we've got the South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Warriors. Obviously, backing the Rabbitohs in there. That'll be another 1-12 margin. I think the Rabbitohs will see... I reckon Cody Walker scores a try against the Warriors in that one. All right, next up, Panthers. Obviously, back in the Panthers there. I think this one will be a 1-12 margin. I think the Seagulls will make it a little bit tough there in Brookvale, but I think the Panthers should get the job done. And I'm going to say Isaac Tungo scores again for the Panthers. Next up, we've got the Dolphins and the Tigers. This game should be... I think it will be a 1-12 margin. Obviously, Dolphins winning this one. And I'm going to go Jermaine Osako to score for the Dolphins. All right, next up, Cowboys. This will be a 13-plus win here for them. I think the Cowboys will be too strong for the Titans, and I'm going to say Val Holmes anytime try scorer. And then to round out the weekend, Raiders 1-12 over Parramatta. And I'm going to go Ethan Strange to score a try against the Eels. All right, guys, let me know your tips down below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. It mean the absolute world to me. Again, guys, I do apologize that it hasn't been as crisp as it normally would be. I know I'm not perfect when it comes to my videos, but I do want to bring out the best that I possibly can for you guys. So it is disappointing that I can't provide you with top tier content. But yeah, look, we're doing the best with what I've got. So yeah, thank you guys all so much for tuning in. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.